I want to talk briefly about Tom Hanks and diabetes today. People have asked me about diabetes a number of times in the past, and I really don't know enough, or I haven't known enough about diabetes to say much about it because I never had diabetes and none of my close family members have had diabetes. I've had friends that have had diabetes, but I haven't really experienced it closely myself. But Tom Hanks has diabetes. He was diagnosed, or he revealed that he had diabetes back in 2013. So quite a while ago, 11 years ago, he did it on the Late Show with David Letterman. And I think he'd been dealing with high blood sugar levels since his 30s. And then finally, his doctor said that he had diabetes. And he speculated that it had something to do potentially with his weight fluctuations for different films. For example, there was Castaway, where I think he had to lose a lot of weight. And so he thought that that contributed to his condition, which I honestly don't really buy. But anyway, let's get into what is diabetes. So diabetes is a metabolic disorder where the body doesn't produce enough insulin. That's type 1. Or it becomes resistant to insulin, and that is type 2, right? Type 1 is typically something that is developed from childhood. It's considered an autoimmune condition, whereas type 2 is something that develops more later in life and is often kind of associated with lifestyle factors. And it can, it's something that can lead to potentially serious health complications. A lot of Americans have it. So the estimate's about 37 million Americans, or about 11.3% of the population has diabetes. Additionally, about 96 million Americans, so about a third of all adults, have prediabetes, which is basically a condition where you've got blood sugar levels that are higher than normal, but not yet at the level to be considered to have diabetes, which if you revert back to Tom Hanks' story, he essentially had prediabetes for a while, and eventually his doctor said he graduated to diabetes. Is diabetes connected to these biomechanics, right? So type 2 is often associated to obesity, and for me, obesity is just the other flip side to biomechanical collapse. So I do think type 2 is closely related to these biomechanics. Type 1, on the other hand, has a lot of people that are not clear folks that kind of suffer from biomechanical collapse, because you have people that have some great structure, people like Halle Berry, Nick Jonas, Jay Cutler. So I think type 1, there's some other things that are potentially going on, but type 2, I do think are very directly related to these biomechanics. I don't want to conclude anything for sure. I just don't have enough experience with diabetes. And I'd love to get more people in the group that have diabetes. If you have diabetes, I'd like to gather at least 5 folks that have diabetes into the group and get you guys journaling and then see how things progress. And hopefully, if we can show that this stuff does help against diabetes, I think it's an important message to get out there. And other people, it's a very cheap solution for people that are probably spending a lot of money on much more expensive options. To encourage that, anyone that's got diabetes, we're letting the first 5 folks into the group for free. So just write to me on the email, which you'll find on the homepage. I'll send you a code to use on checkout, and you can join our, I'll send you an appliance, and we'll put you in our community, and you get my personal support for free, and we'll see if we can help you. Some final thoughts. I think diabetes, I don't want to make any conclusions. It does seem to me like type 2 is related to these biomechanics. Type 1 is much less clear, but let's try to get some folks using these biomechanics to try to combat diabetes and see if we can show that there's a connection. Thanks.